All right, and we're live. Make sure. Did y'all get a chance to share it and everything?
Yeah, I did.
Nah,
All right,
so
cool.
I'm good right
All right, y'all. We are live, and let me open my YouTube and just see if I can get some feedback from the chat on how we sound, if everything is working, and then we'll go ahead and get this thing kicked off. My bad. You two want to know if it's made for kids. That's a negative. All right. Shout out to So100 in the chat. What's good, brother? Can you hear us?
I'm wondering if I could see the chat here without moving out of my screen.
All right, cool. So we got audio. Let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off, y'all.
Let's
Here
go.
we go. Here we go, fellas.
Yay, what's up?
We are
There you go.
live.
That was,
You
that,
feeling
That
the
was
intro?
fire.
that was
Yeah,
rough.
and I heard the beat on it too. Yeah, this time. That was
Appreciate it,
awesome.
man.
That was dope.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to Dad Beats. This is our new podcast experiment situation. Couple of the homies, you know what I'm saying? Some of my favorite, YouTube producer channels. We linked up together to try to create something a little different. So, basically the premise of Dad Beats is it's where we're gonna discuss the joys and challenges of being a creative music maker with responsibilities. So, kids, families, different situations, and it's always a challenge to kind of navigate that space. So we wanted to create something, kind of like a place where we can talk about those issues, talk about production, talk about family life, talk about just different things going on in our lives and the different challenges we face. So, and have fun. You know what I'm saying? So, welcome everybody. As you can see, go ahead and let these good brothers introduce themselves. We'll start with the King O Caesar.
What's up? King Go Caesar, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to be here. These two gentlemen right here, they really great guys, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy to do this dad beats thing.
It's exciting, man. Tell them about the channel, the King O Caesar YouTube channel.
Okay. So the King Go Caesar is one word, like how it's spelled, like on my screen, all caps. But yeah, we just do like tutorials, unboxings, gear reviews, stuff like that, you know, and just make music. We have fun. I get a little crazy, a little wiggy. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. I love doing this YouTube thing, and the community that we're in is like one of the best communities I've ever been in. I think like
Absolutely.
the producer community as a whole. It's just like so much love there, so much
Absolutely.
passion. So
Absolutely. All right. And the homie Lifted Noise,
What up,
definitely one of my
everyone?
favorites as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Sight, I appreciate you you really led the way on this, and this is a really great thing. First of all, if you don't know me, my name is Raul. The channel's Lifted Noise, and mostly been doing MPC content on there for the longest time, and like even more specifically standalone stuff. So if you're kind of the standalone guy, then who doesn't really like computers, I kind of have a weird thing about my relationship with computers, so that's what I do over there. I think I started out doing mostly vlogs and wanted to do like music business vlogs. Being that I know nothing, absolutely nothing about music business, I thought it was a good
Mm.
way to like hold some kind of accountability to sit down and learn the things and like make a video, because it is that approach has helped me in the process of making videos in general. Like when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to like tutorials, there's some stuff that I didn't even know until I made a video. So I made it and I was kind of, faking it till I make it, and it ended up working out and started building a little audience. And from the first vlog that I did, I was just really just sitting at work at my job, which at this point is not something that I really care to go to. And I'll be
Mm.
honest with that. I'm trying to make this a reality. So my words there were like, I'm gonna try to document my process and make some money of making money by doing something that I love doing. And here I am, and I'm making some money. So really like manifesting this stuff, and it feels good. So I do want to inspire and stay inspired. So that's pretty much it. Let me keep it short, but I appreciate you guys. Appreciate talking to you guys and having these conversations, meeting you guys along the way in that journey. So this is cool. This is going to be a good thing because there's still a lot of things we can work out as fathers and musicians. So I think it's going to be
Absolutely.
therapeutic.
Absolutely. Was that your original goal with your channel, was to kind of learn more about the music business in general,
Well, I
was it
think
like
that was the
placements and
approach.
stuff, or you mean just like the entire industry?
Nothing specific necessarily. My words were just that I wanted to figure out a way to make uh, music and make money and support it.
Mm-hmm.
And um,
Have it be
well,
like sustaining.
yeah, exactly. Because for the longest time, I didn't really put any focus on that because I'm just the creative kind of guy. It's not really my mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's not the interesting part of it. But I figured,
Right.
you know what, I got to get real with myself and just approach that and do that. So really, it's just I've just been kind of trying to figure it out as I go, and whatever it is, I have had the thought of selling beats. It's not really my thing. I don't think I really will pursue that. So it's just really just a matter of being creative in some way and being able to do what I love doing, and a lot of it's just kind of revealing itself as I go. So and that's
Absolutely.
when and it's one of those things you hear most YouTubers when they're trying to teach you how to become a influencer YouTuber is just get started, and that's a real big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well, with your
doing it.
when did you start producing, and when did you start your channel?
Um, when I start producing, probably when I got my first taste of it in high school when I was like 16. I had this friend who's from the Philippines, and he had just moved out there with his dad and his family and stuff. And his dad was a producer, and he actually had a studio out there. They have a studio out there now. I believe it's called Alchemy Studios, but I think it's pretty big out there. But anyways, they moved out here, and he had a home studio. It was just a room, just gear, and I think at that time I already had started on FL Studio, cracked version like everybody.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
crack version, that's
and that
legendary.
that was at my friend John's house. Uh, he had showed it to me, and I ended up just getting hooked.
Mm.
So from there, I think between the ages of 16 and 18, we met Aldrich, who his dad, the guy I was just telling you guys about, whose dad was a producer, and he had like a Triton, like a rack with a Triton, a MoFat, and he had
Mm,
like an Elise's keyboard and like the mixer boards and everything, and like
Mm-hmm.
he had Cakewalk sonar, and I was like, what is that, bro? Like
gas.
I had this little MP3 player I just bought, and I was like, yo, Aldrich, will you install Cakewalk on my computer, and I'll give you this MP3 player. And he
Try to
gave me like
bribe
an
him with the
old,
MP3.
yeah, because he had this old ass MP3 player, and I still have it, I think, and it has like one of my first songs I ever recorded on it when I was like 18. Um,
That's crazy.
but I traded the new MP3 player for his shitty old one and Cakewalk. So it didn't really cost him much. He's like, "You really want that?" I was like, "Yeah." Put that on there. And then I think the very first piece of gear I bought when I was like, I don't know if I was 16 or 17, was the MoFat, Emo MoFat rack. So it's like
Oh,
a single
really? So you got
module.
a
It was
rack mount?
like,
That was your first like
yeah,
hardware
so
piece?
my first hardware piece, yeah. So my first
Wow.
piece was like hardware. like I was just off of FL Studio, so I moved from FL to Cakewalk, and it was just like using there's like a 16 channels that you can go through, so you can sequence
So
in
you were running
Cakewalk.
a DAW to an external.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
different, bro.
learned.
Usually, like when I came up, it was like you had an MPC or something
Yeah,
controlling those things, but to
yeah.
sequence on a computer and then run
That
the
was
MIDI out.
yeah. But I learned that from him. I was like, show me how
Oh,
to
okay,
do
that's
this.
what he was doing.
But then the next step, I think I was 18, is when I bought an MPC 1000, and then
Okay.
my initial idea was to do something completely different. Was kind of the way I used the MoFat. I wanted each pad to land on a different track in Cakewalk, but I never figured it out, and I was like, oh fuck it. And then
Gotcha.
so then I started sequencing the MoFat with the MPC. I was like, oh, this is dope.
So when did you start your channel? What age?
Oh, shoot, I think it's been a little over 3 years now. So when my second daughter was born, let me see, I have trouble just figuring out what years they were born. 20, 28, 2017, I think my first daughter was born, and then 2018, yeah, like
Okay.
like July 2018, I
Okay.
think.
So it was like a
But
good 10 years or so into your producer career, or
yeah, yeah, for sure. I made the Lifted Noise channel. Like if you go back into it, it says it's like 5 years old, because I already had that name in mind, and I think I just wanted to make samples and stuff. But
Gotcha.
I didn't have a approach. So yeah, I didn't really
What about
start
you?
until
Oh,
like a couple years
when
ago.
what was your first piece of gear, or like when
Uh,
did you start producing?
I didn't like.
What age?
I always been a music kid. Like I've always just listened to music. I think music, like, is for me, it's like one of those things that like got me by or through like the hard times I used to go through. You know what I'm saying? Because I kind of got like a rough background. You know how I grew up and like some of the stuff I went through. So I always loved music, but I didn't really start even producing until I was like 18, 19. Like I met this guy, my boy Flames, you know what I'm saying? That's still my guy to this day. We rock out, you know what I'm saying, and make beats and stuff together and do like the production thing, but he introduced me to Fruity Loops. And you know what I'm saying? Like Raul, we was on the whole, crack version where we was getting all the crack
There's a lot of
VSTs
folks
and
origin
everything.
story, huh?
Yeah, for real. Like that's nostalgia for real. Like for real. Like, but I always just started straight in the box. I didn't have any like hardware. I think the first hardware or like instrument thing I ever had was a guitar. I bought a guitar when I was 16. That's just because I just wanted to learn how to play. So, I had
What
like a
what year was
guitar.
that you got started with FL?
FL. I I
You
don't
remember
ask me to
like how
remember
how
no
old you
year.
were at the time?
When I got started with FL, I was like 18. I had graduated. It was after 19 because like I didn't start producing until I graduated high school.
Okay,
So,
gotcha.
I graduated when I was 19, and then like shortly after that I started producing, what I'm saying? But like I said, I started straight in the box. I think my first like hardware like piece of gear was the MPC Renaissance. So I had been eyeing those things forever, and been wanting to get one. I just didn't have the money, what I'm saying, to get any of that stuff because that stuff is pretty expensive,
Yeah,
when you don't really have that much. So,
absolutely. And when did you start your YouTube channel? Like how far into your producer career, or like what age?
I wanted to start it like years and years ago. I probably would have been like Marquez Brownlee or whatever. Like that's when I wanted to start, man. I had people discourage me, what I'm saying? That's another story. But I didn't start this like YouTube channel until I think it was like 2 years old, maybe.
Okay,
So
so 2 years in
Yeah,
your production
yeah.
career, or
no,
Like
like it was way, way out of because I've been producing for like 10 plus years. So,
okay,
I'm 34 now. So I've been producing since I was 18, just producing like different people around the city and stuff like that and recording.
okay,
I do a lot of recording. I still do like some recording and stuff now.
like engineering and stuff like that.
Yeah, like engineering and all that.
Bet. Yeah, me. I started when I was 17. I got an MPC when I was my 17th birthday. And it's a whole long story. I'm not going to get into, but I saw same type of thing as Raul. I saw a guy like basically in my neighborhood, he had like it might have been a early like Ensoniq keyboard. Like I don't think it was a ASR or anything, but it was kind of like one of those cheaper models or whatever. And he had it in his living room, and you know, a couple of my homies was like, "Yo, this guy makes beats down the street." And he was an older dude. I think he played bass and stuff. He might have been like 30 or something. I was like 14. So we went over to his crib, and it was my first time seeing a studio like in person. And like I said, I think it was just a keyboard on like one of those little X stands or whatever. And he had like a mic hooked up to something, and he might have had like a little rack thing, like flight case or whatever, like sitting on like his coffee table. So it was just some hood stuff, but it was my first time seeing it. And when I saw him lay down a sequence, I was like, yo, you can really make music in your living room? Like, this is wild.
That's nice.
So it was like, that was when I was 14, and I never stopped thinking about it. Because I was always that kid that had like the boom box. Like, I always had the latest, whatever dropped, like I had it the next day. Because I had you know, the old school stereo receivers that like you can hook up an antenna to it.
Yeah.
I took an antenna and ran it like a wire and ran it all the way up. Like I climbed out my window, my second story window, and like ran it to the roof and like taped it on there or something. So we were in kind of like mid South Jersey. So I was able to get the New York stations nobody else could get. So I was just every like Future Flavors would come on with like Marley Marl and Pete Rock, and they would just play like the new exclusive stuff, and I would just hit record every, like, I think it was Saturday nights it came on, and I would have the new stuff every week. You know, I come down the block with my little dual deck Sony. They'd be like, yo, Sai, how you getting all these songs? Like, I broke Mob Deep in my neighborhood, bro. Like, I had Shook Ones before anybody heard it. They were like, yo, what is that? So, like, that, it turned from just a super love of hip hop to like wanting to make it, because we were freestyling. Like I said, I always had the beats on me, but you know, it wasn't mine. I had instrumentals. Like if somebody had a single, that's why I had the dual deck, because if somebody had a single, you know, usually the instrumental was on the B side, and I would just trade tapes with people. I'd be like, yo, you know, let me get that, I'll give you this one. And I would just record people's stuff all the time. So like, you know, you don't have money in the hood to buy tapes and stuff. You just gotta get it how you get it. And so yeah, man, you know what I mean? Like it started with doing like those little pause tapes people be talking about, where you kind of pause something and then you play it again and then record it at the right time, and you got to let go of pause at the right time. So we had all these kind of like bootleg instrumentals and stuff. And then when I found out you can loop it on a machine, I think I was like 16, and then that was it for me. I was like, yo, I didn't want it. Like I saw a couple like samplers, like guys had like the, you know, the rack mount ones and stuff, which I thought was like, all right. But as soon as I saw, like, I think Premiere was on like Rap City or something with an MPC, and I was like, that's it, I need that. So it was just I never stopped thinking about it for like 2 or 3 straight years. And then this was the Clinton years. My mom came up on like one of those crazy tax return checks, kind of like now how everybody's getting these big checks.
Oh yeah.
That's how like it was like 97. Everybody was getting this like big income tax return who had kids. And all my friends was like wilding out, stealing cars, and you know, it's Jersey. What you gonna do? So
Yeah.
my mom was like, "Listen, you can't be around them." I said, "Mom, well, I mean, I really want this sampler. You want me to stay in the house? I'm saying, you got the Husky check." She was like, "All right, let's go to the music store and see what we can do." And sure enough, bro, I found a what do they call that? The ones in the store, like a demo unit.
Oh yeah.
But it was a studio that had the outputs in it, and they had it advertised for like 1,100. And I was like, oh yeah, let me get that. So they looked at it and they were like, oh no, this is the $2,000 version. Hold on a second. They took it in the back and took the outputs out.
No.
Yeah, they took the expander out. They was like, yo, now you can get it for 1,100. So I think at the time they was going for like 1,600. So it was a crazy deal. I just found it in the paper, and like we tracked down the store.
That board cost 400 or 800. Is that what they were selling for?
I think back then it was like probably like 450, 500. I think those expansion boards were. Yeah. Exactly. I ended up getting it again later because, you know, I got more advanced. But yeah, so I started in 97.
I was learning that when you had that. Did you pick it up pretty quick?
Nah.
Really?
I mean, it wasn't YouTube or nothing, so it was like, you know, and everybody was real tight to the vest with their secrets. You know what I mean? So it was like trial and error. All I had was probably for like 2 years. All I had was an old Rusty Techniques like belt drive turntable. I had a Serwin Vega speaker system, like you know what I'm saying, the old school tape deck and the receiver, and I had some Serwin Vega 15s, and then that was it. My MPC was on the 15 because the speakers back then was like 4 feet tall, so I had the MPC on the speaker, and on the other speaker I had the turntable, and I just sampled. Like I just went to thrift stores, bought records, and I sampled for probably my first 3 years. Like all I had was the MPC and a turntable, and that was it. So it wasn't until probably maybe my 4th year that I met somebody who was kind of like a producer mentor to me and started teaching me, like structure and stuff like that. Yeah, but
I kind of got a question about that too. It's like how do you guys feel about like the new age, like because basically like what you said, even when I started, it was kind of like that where everybody like was like, the secrets was like, but now you can like everybody is giving the game away. So like,
yeah,
Yeah,
how y'all feel about that?
I was just thinking about it as well. Um, I don't know. I think I was kind of born in between those periods, so it doesn't really affect me. Like, I don't know. I give it all away for free, but I was just thinking. I was wondering if people that lived in that era are kind of like mad, with their they
some of them
upset that
are.
we're giving away
Yeah,
some of the stuff, and it makes me think of like I think they used to put out like after hip hop, sampling was around for a while. There used to be like albums where you could find the exact samples that came from songs, right? And that was like
hmm,
the same kind of deal. Like people were mad about that kind of thing, like giving up
yeah,
rights and certain
Hmm.
stuff. So that's what it made me think of.
yeah. I think with me, I saw it in different industries. Like I started getting into photography and video in about around like 2008, 2009. And around that time, YouTube was kind of like, starting to take off. And a lot of the, kind of like higher end photographers and stuff were starting to do these tutorials and, just starting to share information. And I think it was to sell their courses. Like they were early on the course game or whatever. But that probably that just kind of, I didn't think about it on a producer level at first. I was just thinking like, oh, this is dope. Like I'm learning photography from YouTube. And then it didn't really kind of transfer industries, I guess you could say, like for a little while. Because even that industry, like I don't think it matters what industry you're in. I think giving away free information is always looked down upon to those people with that like scarcity mindset. You know what I'm saying? Where they feel like, oh, if you learn something, it's going to take a job away from me. And I mean, there's something to be said for that, but I mean, at the same time, like that's like the old economy. Like the old economy was like you stay ahead by keeping secrets. Now it's like you
Mm,
stay ahead by knowing more people and having more relationships.
yeah,
So it's just everything's a lot more accessible. But I know there are a lot of guys in my generation and maybe a little older who are just like they still salty, bro. I be seeing them in the Discord like, oh, how dare you?
Yeah, that,
yeah. So
but
it's
see,
just true with a lot of industries are just shifting with the internet and stuff.
yeah,
So
Hmm,
you got to
hmm.
either like adapt to it and
or fall
have something else
behind.
to offer. Then that's what I think. You have to have something else to offer if you're a musician than just your music. Unless you're like just so super talented. I mean, I'm not taking away from anyone, but I'm just saying like that's kind of the approach. Have something else to offer other than just the
Right.
music. Because
Yeah,
everybody wants to kind of do things for themselves rather than just sitting up on a pedestal thinking, I just need to be heard and whatever. So,
Hmm, hmm.
well,
um, yeah,
I just never really got it though because like it's not like everybody can't eat though. Honestly,
yeah,
like the industry, like people just be looking at stuff like one sided, like So it's like you can only make beats for like producers and stuff like that. No, you got produce. I mean, not for producers, but like for rappers and singers.
Hmm.
But no, you got TV, you got movies, you got all these,
Yeah.
and they all run off sound, bro. They all run off like beats and stuff like that. So many ways that you can get your music out there. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Media has exploded. Like the amount of channels, the amount
that's
of people,
right.
the amount that we consume daily. So yeah, I'm sure with that, like so many more opportunities have come about where it's like it had to expand how many people, you know what I'm saying, we're actually creating it. So no, that's a good point.
Have you guys ever talked to? Have you guys ever like talked to a guy or a person that's like running like a full fledged studio? Like those guys are like freaking out. They're like insane, man. They're
What you mean?
so busy. They're so busy all the time.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
they always have work. So there's like always like food. You know what I'm saying? There's always enough to go around. You know,
Yeah.
they
There's,
be they
there's,
they be putting like you know what I'm saying, give it like sending some of their work to other studios and stuff like, yo,
Yeah.
I can't do all this. I need you to take over this. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Or I got this client for you. Because like literally that's just like, especially in the world that we're in right now, it's like with the media and
that's how you
like
gotta.
streaming channels. Go ahead, lift it.
No, I just you gotta look at it. I just agree with your point. Like it doesn't matter. We can all eat. Just someone else's success doesn't negate yours. You know, you gotta make room. I mean, you gotta look at it as there's an abundance rather than scarcity. Because
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
like that mentality, I guess it's kind of human. Like you just want to build up some security for yourself. I think we do a lot of evils that way. But yeah, you just gotta find your lane. And I mean, there's many niches, and you gotta
Right.
just find the niche that fits your personality. Sometimes just your personality's enough. You're not competing with someone else's personality. We're not, we're all individuals. So like all of
Mm-hmm.
us are different in a way, and people can relate to us differently, although we do similar things.
Yeah.
It's
And,
not a
and that kind of
competition.
leads me to like a segue, right? Because it's like not competing with each other. I think we all can agree our biggest competition is our time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Really.
I don't have enough time to do all the stuff that I need to do or I would like to do as a creative, as a, as a producer, as a content creator. And I'm sure you guys all share it where it's like I'm not looking at what other people are doing in this space. I'm looking at, man, I've got 28 video ideas that I literally don't have the time, to put out. And I think that's more holding me back than anything, as far as that struggle with time. Is
Well,
that something y'all agree with?
hence the
Yeah,
dad beats, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
We're all here because like we share like the same type of situations where we have families and we work. You're fortunate to be able to do like this like pretty much full time. You know what I'm saying? You've been able to monetize and get it going full time. I know me and Raul, we're still working 9 to 5s, and and just like you, I know you're so dedicated with your kids and stuff, and like what you do, like with your kids, like it's just like that time is the one thing that like you know it's like I wish we had 28 hours in a day instead of
Yeah.
24.
That's a
You
you
know.
fact,
just
bro.
have you just have more kids long enough. But yeah, becoming a dad is really helped that realization for me as far as the time thing goes. Like I've
Hmm.
wasted plenty of time, so it's just like the hindsight is 2020 thing. Like looking
Yeah.
So you
back,
like kicking
like
yourself at all the time you kind of messed around when
yeah,
you could have been more productive before you had kids.
right. But you can never know more than know
Yeah,
ahead of
yeah.
time. So everything for a reason. Like I don't know. I think I'm just maturing or whatever, developing at my own pace. So yeah, it's good. I mean,
True.
I could still be wasting my time.
Hmm.
So I
No,
really
and I gotta be
evaluate that.
transparent, man. Like, it's not that I do this full time. It's that basically I stopped working in corporate like 2010 is when I had like quote unquote early retirement. Like I took a buyout and I never worked for nobody again. Like and I promised myself I wouldn't do it. So it's not necessarily like YouTube or anything like that. This is just kind of like my latest iteration or my latest I guess you can say project or my latest brand because I've been working on brands with like whether it's different artists or kind of like corporate brand stuff. I did like commercials and ad spreads and magazines and newspapers and stuff. So I was doing that for like a strong that was I was going hard from like 2010 until maybe like 2018. And then I started like transitioning into like, instead of, because I didn't have no clients, we moved to Savannah and I had to shift from, I didn't have no clients around. Like I couldn't find anybody out here who was like moving and shaking. So I made myself a client and I just started branding myself. And then, over the course of the last couple of years, it's created more opportunities and stuff. But it's not necessarily that, like YouTube is like it's full time for me in a certain aspect, but I'm sure you guys see like my channel, you know, and everybody who's watching, like my channel's really suffered the last year. I had, you know, my second child, and bro, my wife works 10 hours a day. So I've got my kids. You factor in the commute time. There's weeks I have my kids for 60 hours. You know what I'm saying? So
Where your paycheck at for that? No, I'm just playing.
bro, I mean, it's a struggle, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's
hours.
kind of like I get maybe 3 to 4 hours a night usually to get stuff done if I'm not too tired. You know what I'm saying? So it's a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like I've cut down the amount of like revenue streams and stuff that I had to really focus on, you know, on my personal brand. But I mean, I got a whole bunch of projects like I don't put on my channel that, you know, that I work on. Like my wife started real estate, so I'm working on her brand. I'm building out her website and, you know, branding and stuff. So it's and my thing is family business. So like my brother has a barbershop. I helped them build out their brand. They're off to the races. They just started, you know, that was like 4 or 5 years ago. Actually, I think it was more than 5. And then now they're starting like a logistics company, you know, helping build out the brand for that, the logo and stuff. So my thing is just family business in general. I know the only key to like the only way to kind of get freedom financially is to build businesses and create those revenue streams that are going to allow you to, you know, kind of stop trading your time for money at your job. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, the branding is important, man. Like being able
huge.
to brand, just to being able to brand yourself and like, you know, create something for yourself too. Because
Hmm.
that's one of the thing too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we've been talking about producing and stuff like that. I kind of like fell away from like recording people a lot and like, you know what I'm saying, like doing things like that because I realized that I was still working for somebody else. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Even though it's my time and you know it's like my, you know what I'm saying, I'm still like basically the owner, right? I'm the manager. I'm still, you know, I'm still contracted though. You
Hmm.
know, they come through, they pay me by the hour to do work for them. You know, I wanted to build something for myself that, you know, that I could monetize that was going to be for me, you know what I'm saying, and my family as well. So it's like, you know, building a brand is pretty important. It's like
It's
it's crazy.
crucial. It's really the most important thing right now. You know, like building your brand is more important than it really the quality of your music, the quality of your, you know, visuals and stuff like, you know, and when I say brand, it's like, you know, I watch a lot of Gary Vee and he's always
Mm.
said brand is more like your reputation.
Yeah.
And so in that case, like I've been huge on building my brand my entire life. It was always like I never wanted any. I always showed up to the studio on time. You know what I'm saying? I was always early. I was that dude that was like plugging in my MPC an hour before the artist even got to the studio. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of my brand, like that early early bird gets the worm type vibe. You know what I'm saying? So if you think about brand like reputation, it's a very easy thing to do because you just want to carry yourself a certain way. And we all do. Like we all
Yeah.
carry ourselves a certain way when we're out in the world. So it's kind of like how do you take that and infuse that into the stuff that you put out, like on your channel or the music that you put out. I was telling somebody about Premiere. They was like, we was having the conversation about, oh, I can't believe because Premiere started a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and he just
Really?
he just launched a video, which was huge. And somebody was like, oh, you know, giving away Premiere sauce or whatever. And what they don't understand is the
Yeah.
sauce is the brand. You
Yeah.
Premiere could show you every button he presses, but you would still never have his reputation. You would never have his creative mind as far as like the cuts that he chooses on the hook,
Mm-hmm.
like you know the phrases that he decides to use,
Yeah. For real.
and the Premiere sauce is like the artist gets to say shout out to Preem in their verse. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the real sauce of a Premiere beat. It's not the beat, not just the beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's the total package, everything that comes with it, and that's how producers need to start thinking as far as you know how to carry themselves is your music. What do you believe in as far as your music, and how do you take that all the way? You know what I'm saying? Like how do you take that idea and make it part of everything that you do, the clothes that you wear, you know, the decisions you make musically, the decisions you make visually, and the videos that you do. That's huge. You know what I'm saying? That's the real sauce.
Yeah.
We can make videos about how to make beats like somebody all day, but that doesn't mean nobody's gonna buy them. They, you know,
For real.
having a Pharrell type beat and then having Pharrell singing on your hook, dancing in your video, two different things.
Yeah. What do you think about the brand and stuff? Lifted Noise.
Oh, I just kind of just feel like a student just sitting back listening to everything you guys are saying. It's just so good, man. So yeah, because I never really thought of it that way. You know, you talking about it's so number one, it's reputation, because you can think of all the things that make a brand, like a logo, or like the photography, you know, whatever, like the stuff. Like when I see, I mean, I see that a lot when I look at you, iamsight, because obviously that's kind of your expertise, right? You would say. So I mean, it's really on point. But when I think of myself, like those things, I'm real amateurish with. But
Well,
maybe
you would think, right? But like I'm telling you from like outside looking in, and I'm sure we got to get to the chat at some point and chop it up with them. But I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of guys in the chat would agree. You know, when we watch the Lifted Noise channel, you know, where first of all, your tone is real chill. You know what I'm saying? It's real. You know, it's just your default tone is real chill, real mellow, and then it's like a certain honesty. Like, you know, you
Yeah.
get certain producers or channels or whatever where, you know, they're trying to hype it up and they're trying to come off a certain way. Yours is kind of more as a student, like, okay, you approach your gear as a student, and that's dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of us can relate to that, and the transparency about that part is huge, you know? So that's your reputation, that's your brand, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
You don't even realize it. You're already
yeah.
branded. Like you've already
yeah.
branded yourself, you know, because
Well,
of
that's what's
just
up.
what you do. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's cool to hear that evaluation. Yeah, I mean, I just want to be honest about it. Like I don't want to. That's when I go in, like I said earlier, and I make a video. Sometimes I'm learning something in the process, and I still want to make a video because I use it as an accountability to do something and to
Right.
put myself out there rather than just waiting on it and like being held up because I'm waiting to be like at a certain level. So it's like, why not do that and be open about it? It's like, yeah, like you said, I'm a student. I'm learning this. We can learn together. Yeah, I don't want to fake it. I mean, to some level, I'm faking it because, like I said earlier, I don't know what's gonna happen next. But yeah, I'll be honest about what I don't know. I'll be honest about my weaknesses. I try to understand myself the best I can. You know, that's kind
Right.
of been. I guess maybe that comes off as my brand because that's what I'm just trying to do in life. I feel like that's beneficial for ourselves. And
And coming
like
back to
I
where we
would,
are now, I mean, children pop up in your videos, and that's something that it seems like, I mean, we've had discussions about it, but it's something that I've been personally scared of. Like, you know, oh, I can't do a video today. My son, you know, because my son's clinging on my leg. You know what I mean? So it's like now I'm trying to like you've influenced me or inspired me to be a little more open about that kind of stuff, because I've had my son and, you know, my daughter featured in my channel on like little videos here and there, but as far as like my daily day-to-day life, like I don't really show much of that at all, and that's something that, you know, I have to start embracing, and that's kind of what spurred this idea for us to do this, was embracing that part of my reputation as well. Like everybody who knows me knows how much of an engaged father I am. Like I'm really a family man, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm really into it. And that role is huge to me. You know what I'm saying? It's my number one role, honestly. So I think going into like branding and things like that, it's part of my brand I've never had before. So it's been a little awkward for me to kind of put it into my content, if you know what I mean.
no,
Yeah.
definitely. I think we all have young kids, so there's been some hesitation with me as well. I don't think you've seen my kids too much, but I think we're all kind of having that, just in this conversation, having that realization together. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, they're just a part of our lives, and I mean, it's part of the motivation to do this too, right? Like I want to inspire my
Huge,
kids,
yeah.
not to be like. I feel like the most of the world is that, you know, most things, even creative things, are like frivolous. Like I mean, that's not the way. And it doesn't matter what my kids want to do, whether they want to be creatives or not. But there's just other ways of doing things rather than just the traditional old methods. I can't help it. You know, I don't really
Yeah,
I don't do well with the status quo kind of things. You know, so
that's a fact.
I may be an outcast. I don't fit in, so I'm just gonna stand out and just do what I do. And if I stand out, then that's what it is. And
Yeah.
hopefully that works out. You know, so
That's nice. Well, I tell you, my kids, like you can't help to see them in my videos sometimes. My 2 year old, I mean my 3 year old just doesn't care. He'll just come in here. I remember doing a live, and he just came down here in this diaper and just ready to go, man. Pull up. That's it. He came out in pull ups, and he was, you know. Well, this it's because I know we've talked about this like site where we talk about legacy, like what we leave, you know, and that's one thing that's great about this YouTube. It's like so like if we do like end up like, you know, passing away or something like that, this is a place where our kids can go and see like how their dad was, and see like the passions that, you know, because we all share this passion of music, you know, and they see it when we're making our videos and when we're in the studio making beats and stuff like that, and they you know, they always get up in their mind, dude. I know they be getting in there getting jiggy with me, you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
Yeah, I think my son's fourth word was beats. He's
yeah.
like, beats. Every time you see me on an MPC, he calls it beats.
But you see, they always want to be in there with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I see, like I've, you know, it's very slim, but you know, you'll catch Raul's kids coming in there like, Daddy, what you doing? You
Yeah.
know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
We up in here cooking up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's dope, man. We probably should check in on the chat, man. We got a lot of people. We got people up in here.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do
We
that.
can do some shout outs.
Let's
So
see
we
what we
got
got here.
we got So 100 brand. What's up, So 100? Mean Gene up in here. J Mac.
So 100.
You know what I'm saying? Black, Black's Beats. Crest Head. J Mac. Perry. Picol. I'm hoping I'm saying that. Don't beat me up if I butcher your name. AdSense Rivera. We got
What's up, bro?
Shouty 205. A Magnificent.
He said,
Perry.
"Sup, father heads."
Yeah, he said, what's up, father? Yeah, we got Mr. G in here. Who was that? Marked Edwards, DJ Rec. We got a lot of people in here, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Aurora,
everybody that's
Colorado.
in
What's
here,
up?
man. Yeah, Rhythm City Live, William Oates. We got Marcelo all the way from Germany up in here.
It's Marcello. See, my brother's
Oh,
name is
Marcello.
Cello, so every time I see
Oh,
Marcello's
Marcello.
name, yeah, I already know what it is.
Yeah, that's the thickest.
Shout out to the homie Marcello. Yo, his channel is dope as well, man. He's
Yeah.
been putting out some real fire with this 2.10 update.
Oh yeah, he has. He's been going nuts. It's Trips is up in here. What's up, It's Trips? You know what I'm saying?
Trips, what's good, homie?
Ali up in here. NX Music. Dang, boy, we going up right now. Smack
Homie
Damn It.
Smack Damn It. William Oates was good. NX Music.
Jack D.
Jack D.
Kind of lost, guys. What up,
Yeah,
everybody? God bless everyone.
we're trying. Yeah, God bless everyone. Yeah, we don't want to spend too much time in here, but we definitely gonna get up. Get to the chat and at the end and answer some questions if y'all have questions or address some topics. So let's just kind of transition to this other section I wanted to talk about, which is this is a segment that I'm interested in because Lifted Noise just put out a video, and this section we're gonna call it New Toys, right? So. New toys, we're going to talk about like our recent gear pickups and, latest toys for ourselves or our kids or, whatever. Like, a lot of times I know I buy toys for my son. It's really for me to. But let's talk about that Novation circuit. I mean, what's good with that?
What's good with that? I got it right here. Yeah, man, I've had it for a couple days. It's tiny and it's pretty light, but it's fun. It's so far, I mean, at first I was stumbling. Like when I recorded that video, I was like, I'm not gonna share this. It's dumb. Like I'm stumbling. Like I had no idea. Like I'm like, this is gonna be super easy. I'm like, but yeah, I've been sitting with it and actually been picking it up pretty quick, and it's pretty cool. It has lots of limitations. It's definitely not like I'm weird with gear. Like I'm like I just want to have one piece that does everything right. I get in these weird things, and I think it's like the opposite of hoarding stuff, or like having a gear list. I mean, I have a gear list no matter what. Like
You like to trim down, like you like a minimal setup.
But I think of that's just like the other side of the coin of hoarding. It's just minimalizing. But so I don't know, man. I wanted a new piece and something I didn't have to really look at, and a lot of it's just gas, but it's just wanting to explore a new workflow and keep things kind of fresh. I don't know what else I could say about it.
It's just still early.
Yeah, it is early. So as far as the subject of, we can get into that later, but the kids have way too many toys. Like I wanted to get the kids some toys, just because I was out at the store and I was like, God, this would make them happy, put a smile on their face. But man, their toys have like taken over the living
Yeah, they'll
room.
take over the
So
house, bro.
yeah, so but yeah, that's
I
it, man. I'm just
slim
keep
their stuff down too. Like I slim my kids' stuff down too. Like
nah.
he got the Nerf out. See,
I just
my son's 2.5, so he's not into the Nerf just yet.
I
So
just
what
got
is
it today for the
that's
kids.
dope. I used to have those. Yeah, we used to love those. I remember one Christmas, my brother and I think I was like 10 or 11. He was like 12. We knew what we were getting, and we had opened the Nerf guns the night before, and then we wrapped them back up so we could
Yeah.
open up. But anyways, you were saying something about you trim your son's toys down. Like, what do you mean, and what's your approach to that? Because I'm thinking
Yeah.
about.
Well, no, I'm. It's funny because like I've got a certain amount of stuff now, but I get anxiety when I have too much gear now. So like if I have a piece of gear and it's sitting around for a whole month and I don't touch it, I start to get the shakes. I'm like, yo, I got to get rid of it. Like
Oh, okay.
I either got to use it because it gives me like a the anxiety is like, yo, I'm not using this. I'm being wasteful,
Yeah.
and it's it's kind of like rooted in like my business mind has been super overactive the last few years where because I'm coming off of bootstrapping where it's like I tell people when I started my channel all I had was a refurbished touch and like a 10-year-old quad core PC like that I built in like 2010 and it was like I was just trying to make it happen with the minimum. You know what I'm saying? Like my money was that low. So I don't want to call it scarcity mindset, but it's like I got used to working on very little. So now clutter bothers me. You know what I'm saying? When I have too much stuff and definitely stuff that I'm not using, I feel like it's just it could be used in a better way, right? Like there's always something that I could be investing in to either grow my channel or grow my business. Like buying gear isn't always the best way to grow your business, so it kind of makes me nervous. But as far as like new toys, I have been copping. Matter of fact, because I get really heavy into the video and photo stuff too. So my latest pickup is give me a second. I kind of been going crazy. I ain't gonna hold you.
Kind of been going
But
crazy.
yeah, I kind of been going crazy. This is the song. Well, the Sigma. What is it?
What's that, bazooka, man?
24 to 70. I'm
Okay.
tripping. 24 to 70, 2.8. But yeah, it's a monster. It's like a super crazy photography video lens. And the only reason I really got it, for one, I mean, sometimes, like I said, when I get that anxiety, it kind of motivates me sometimes. So I'm like, all right, I just copped this new lens. I need to go on a streak and do like 8 videos this month. You know what I mean? It doesn't always work out like that. But also, like I said, with my wife doing real estate, it kind of, I had to get the right lenses. Like shooting a woman is different from shooting like yourself. Like I don't care what the lens is for me. I'm like, whatever. But when you're shooting, women like to look a certain way.
You always gotta get they good side anyway.
Exactly.
500 pictures and they only like 2 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, my,
Yep.
my
So
girl gets mad when I try to take a picture. She says, "You don't know how to take a picture."
facts.
So,
But no, my wife fell in love with me at a photo shoot. That's where she kind of met me. So she called me her photographer crush for a long time. So I picked that up kind of as like a gift to her, and her career, her new real estate career. So that was a big pickup. And then what else? This mic, this Rode Pod mic. It was only $100, but man, it's made a huge difference as far as like I wouldn't have been comfortable to do this and do these live streams recently if it wasn't for this mic because I had a condenser and it was picking up all the noise in this house, including my kids wilding out. So
It sounds good.
I appreciate it, man. No, these dynamic mics definitely help a lot, and for $99, it's a steal in my opinion.
I might
What
have
is
to
it
get. I
called?
need to upgrade mine.
The Rode Pod mic. Yours sounds good. Oh, you already got a dynamic. I didn't even have
Yeah,
one.
I got the old school though. We rocking the Sennheiser. You know what I'm saying? I've had this
There you
thing for forever. I think
Oh,
I got this is one of the things I got because I did go to Full Sail for a little bit
Mhm.
Nice.
when I was younger. So this is like one of the things that they sent. But this thing has been like like we talking about gear, like building up gear and stuff like that. I got a lot of gear, man, but this is like I've been building this for like a long time. It's crazy that I have all the stuff that I have now. You know.
Anything recent you picked up? New
Oh
toys?
yeah, I picked up the Mackie mixer, and then I picked up the Line 6 Pod Go multi effects guitar pedal because I wanted to get back. I wanted to get back into like playing the guitar more and like
Mm-hmm.
learning because I've always just wanted to like learn an instrument and like be really good at a specific instrument. I'm good at playing the drums too. Um, but yeah, I got it for mainly for that and also like for like signal processing. So
Okay.
I have
Sound
it,
design stuff.
yeah. So I have it hooked up uh on my mixer as a like what you call that? It's like a auxiliary. It's a
Okay.
like an aux channel,
Gotcha.
and I can run all my guitars and my my keyboards and all that stuff, and I can play with the sound, the modulation and stuff like that. I can put whatever this thing because it has a lot of stuff in it that it can do. We talking about reverbs, we talking about tremolos, we talking about what I'm saying, like EQs. It has everything on there, like
Man.
all
Is
type
there
of.
anything you've been eyeing up? Like anything you're looking at?
Not not really. Like I kind of want to update my artist mix because I've had it for forever. But
What's an artist mix?
so artist mix is like it's like a motorized fader controller for like Pro Tools and stuff like that. So like
Okay.
when you mix,
Avid.
yeah. So like
Okay.
with the Avid artist mix, and when I mix, like I'm one of those guys I hate. Even though I started in the box, I've always hated like the clicky with the mouse and stuff. Like I
Mm-hmm.
still
Yeah.
like to touch physical stuff. So like with these, like they sync to my projects, and it's just so easy to mix, man. You
What
know
is,
what I'm
what have you
saying?
been looking at that? Have you seen the like Studio Logic stuff? I think it's Studio Logic. They got some new like really nice looking mixing surfaces. That's what you're talking about pretty much is like a
Yeah,
mixing surface.
it's a mixing
Yeah.
surface. Yeah, I haven't looked at. I pretty much because I know like the platform like of like Avid and stuff. Even though I have a big problem with Avid a lot. I can't stand them like their customer service and stuff. But you know what I'm saying, like the product is great, and they released like the second version, or it's like the third version of this, and like it actually it has like the lights and stuff on it too. So like I like the color code coordinate like when I'm mixing and stuff like that, so you can see all that stuff too, and you can use the iPad. Like it gets crazy, bro. I use my iPad too, like as a sub. You know what I'm saying, and
You're a
when
gear
I'm
whore,
mixing.
bro. Just
I am, but see, I really do like when I pick gear, I have a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
everything works for me in some type of way, and I
hmm
You
do
know,
touch everything.
it's
There's not a day that I don't
do
like.
do you ever feel
You know,
pressure though? Like if you haven't used something in a little while, do you feel like a pressure to use it or
oh yeah, that's a,
yeah, see that's
with
what I can't
this
stand no more.
motif,
I can't take that pressure, bro.
this motif, man. I'm like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to play it a lot, but I'm like, man, this thing has been sitting here for a while. Like it's
I even
about
got a
like a
term for it,
motif
bro. I
like
call it gear guilt.
yeah.
Like I get gear guilt now. Like if I have gear that I'm not using, I
yeah.
start feeling about it. Like yo, that could have been like
I
Yeah.
probably got it
like just
worse than all of you guys
a word.
because like you called him a gear whore. You guys probably have. It sounds like you have more pieces than I do,
hmm
but like I had the gear guilt too, man. I get rid of so much. Like I couldn't if we put all the stuff I ever had, it probably wouldn't fit in this room.
Yeah, for
Oh,
real.
so you
Like
swap out stuff a
I've done
lot.
that process. Yeah, like I'm like I'm not using this. I'm gonna get rid of it, and then
hmm
I end up getting something else. So like I have that gear guilt and that gas so often. Like I think it's
mm
worse than either one of you guys. Just my perspective.
Well, see, it started like for me. It started out with just a laptop, and then I was like, man, I'm tired of all this
Mm,
clicky stuff. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So then, I ended up getting the Abbott Mix, and that was dope. But then, like when I got my desk and I got all my speakers and stuff, I'm like, I want like the Avatones because I like the mono response. But
I
then I
just looked
got
at the chat. Yo, I seen so 100. You guys don't know what gear hoarding is. Yo,
yeah, bro.
yeah,
Well,
man.
bro.
we all see he's like so 100 is probably like Ghetto Styles, man. Ghetto
Bro,
Styles, that guy has just too much
At
stuff.
least
You
he's
know,
at peace though, you know, like
Oh
'cause
yeah,
it's just different things. Like, I mean, I'm not gear hoarding, but like if I did hold on to everything, it'd be bad, be a bad
well,
look.
the
You know
thing
what I
with
mean?
So 100, and this is a point that I like to make to producers who like and like to buy gear. You know, and the brother So 100 and I had this conversation multiple times. Like, there's one thing buying gear with money that you really don't have compared to buying gear that your craft is paying for.
Right.
And you know, that brother has been working so hard. Like, So 100 makes some of the best, hands down, key groups and just sound design that I've heard. You know what I mean? It's just the quality of it, and his work speaks for itself. His
yeah.
investments, those are investments. You know
I'm
what I'm
trying to
saying?
be like that man.
Yo, for real. So it's like, it's different when you're making money and
Put
that
me on
money
for
is
100.
paying for your gear. It's easier to kind of like be at peace with it because it's not like coming off your kid's plate, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the kids are good, you know what I'm saying? Like, the family's taken care of, but the craft, I got to feed the craft too. And that's a real piece that comes from, you know, from creating a business that is earning, you know, and taking is sustainable, like you were talking about earlier, Raul. Like, when your business is sustaining itself and creating a profit, like, it's really a great feeling. So that's kind of like getting down to like the kind of the core topic of this first podcast, right? Is like talking about the title I used was
This guy, man.
title I used was, man, let me see. Let me scroll to the top. YouTube's weird. I can't even see my own titles. Beats and Kids, How to Make It Work, right? So getting down to the core of that discussion, how to make it work, is you have to make your music sustainable in some way, whether that's through a YouTube channel, whether that's through creating sounds that other producers you know need to use, and you know, like in the case of So 100 being a sound designer, whether it's, you know, getting sync licenses, you know, for movies, films, whatever. You have to find a lane that you have to find a lane for yourself that's comfortable for you, that you can go hard at, and basically allow yourself a revenue stream to come from it, and do the necessary work to get it to a revenue stream. And that's a different kind of piece. That's something that recently I've been really enjoying, because this, you know, when I dropped my sound pack standalone soul, which was about a month and a half ago, maybe about 5-6 weeks, that kind of changed the trajectory of my year. Like, when I spent time building my brand, but when I finally released a product, like a digital product that didn't require me to do the work over and over and over again, you know, like you know, when you go to a 9 to 5, you have to work for every hour.
Yep.
This was like, I put the hours in, and then I created a way for, you know, the people who rock with me to support me, and I appreciate that support, everybody. It's been huge for me, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just allowed me to kind of like step back. I don't have to trip over putting a video out every week, and I don't want it to seem like, you know, if you caught my sound pack, I'm never making videos. Nah, it's like, I've been able to stop stressing about putting videos out and really just focus on something that I have had the chance to do, which is sound design. Because for me, creating videos in my current living situation, you know, I've expressed it to probably both of y'all, and then I think I talked about it in my last stream a little bit. My current living situation, we're waiting for our house to get built. I can't like just let loose, and you know, I don't have the creative space that I had in my, you know, my last home. So until December, when we move into our new crib, like, I'm trying to just limp across the finish line this year with my YouTube channel, and this is like an effort for me to kind of create more content, you know, for my audience as well, you know what I'm saying, as well as all of our audiences, and get to that point of finding a solution and finding a way to be beneficial to the community, you know, to the producer community, and create things that that matter to the community with my limitations, right, and or with my responsibilities. And that kind of leads us to like how we got here, where all of us, you know, all three of us have those same challenges, where You know, you got to balance family life, you got to balance your responsibilities with your creative goals and your creative dreams. And you guys both have 9 to 5, so now you're balancing it with the third thing, you know what I'm saying, which is
Yeah.
a
Hmm.
career, you know what I'm saying, like a daytime career. So it's tricky. What are some of the things you guys use, like as far as tactics or technology or whatever, you know, to kind of help you balance that?
Yeah. Well, if I can go,
Yeah.
um, I think early on is just kind of trying to adapt some kind of organization because, and if you're not used to that, I think I've seen someone, there was a post about how creatives aren't necessarily organized or they're not good at balancing their time and stuff. Maybe not true for everybody. Everyone's slightly different, but yeah, I was
Hmm.
never organized, never really taught that. So, I got the calendar, sounds really basic, but for the beginning of me doing YouTubes, I would always, doing YouTube videos, I would always write out, you know, uh, the process. So it would be like, um, this day I'm recording, this day I'm editing, this day I'm
Hmm.
doing a thumbnail for it, and I need it to be uploaded by this date. So I did that for the longest time. I don't know how long, and then I stopped doing it because it's kind of become natural. And I think there's a saying about like, what is it like, 21 days or something for a new habit. I don't know if that's true,
Mm-hmm.
but I went,
That's straight up to one day.
I've passed that 21 days, so now it's
Right.
habitual for me. Like I just do this, like it's, so I may not be as organized now, but one thing I do try to do now is not wait for my downtime, like when I'm home to like get an idea ready. So I do take
Uh,
advantage and take some liberties while I'm at my 9 to 5. And even if it's just on break, but my mind is always going. And that's kind of why I took the kind of work that I took. It's more of a physical job, a labor job, right? Um, I'm a
so your body
custodian.
might be
So
tired, but your mind's not.
yeah, but exactly. But you can't like, I mean, if you have some other kind of job where it requires you to think about other stuff and plan other things, you can't really do your own thing. So that was kind of the approach when I took this kind of work, is I can come up with creative ideas. So my mind is going, thinking about things, and when I get a chance at work, I'll sit down and write down. So as of late, I try to. My goal is, and I haven't necessarily met it, is to write at least like 2 to 3 different video ideas down, and then write one outline for a video for the one that I'm going to do when I do have the downtime. So when I'm ready to shoot and the time becomes available, I can just go and knock it out rather than trying to get organized when my downtime. Because of course that's going to take a whole lot more time if you're not a little bit prepared at least. So I think that's number one, just using your time wisely. I think it comes down to sacrifice. So it is a
So
discipline
the
for me.
calendar and writing stuff down was huge for you.
It was, I think so. Yeah, so definitely writing stuff down. So I just do it. Like there's no technology or apps that I've used at this point. I just use pen and pad
What about you? Oh,
and well maybe an yeah.
Go ahead, finish your thought. Lift the noise.
No, I was just gonna say maybe I use a notepad on my phone. That was it.
Okay. Yeah, I my process is always changing, man. So like it's like my schedule is still not a schedule. You know what I'm saying? If you would say it's still not a schedule because I'm always changing stuff, and it's like if you have kids, like you can write all the schedules you want, but certain stuff happens. It's just you just got to go with the flow, man. So
right.
I try to write things down and try to stay organized. A lot of stuff like lifted noise when I'm at work, my job allows me to have like some downtime. So like on my downtime, I try to utilize my time the best that I can because I know that, every day that I'm off, I have my kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I gotta find, different places to make sure that, what I'm saying, I'm getting stuff done. So I just started using Notion, and that's been helping a lot, as far as productivity. We've been talking about it, site, like we even using it for this podcast, because I have a calendar and stuff like that, and I have my goals. Now the goals is a great thing to have, but like my calendar, you know what I'm saying, it's like, even though I write stuff on there, I don't always look at it all the time. So I just wanted something that that was gonna be there, that I look at my phone every day. I have my phone with me every day. I have
Right.
my Apple Watch always on. So like Notion is making it to where I can like see that stuff all the time.
Constant reminder every time you
Yeah.
open your phone, it's right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too, man. With me, I try to do like I do a mixture, but I notice I'm more productive when I do stuff like this. Like I went out and I got this notebook, and it's just like not a notebook. It's kind of like a pad, like a to-do list, right? And it just says productive AF, and then it's got first three things I must get done today. And it's got three, and then it's got a to-do list. But whether it's like something like this or just literally writing down, maybe start with like 4 or 5 things that I want to do each day, and then kind of build from there. So like if I get on a roll where I completed like 5 things for a week, I'll add like a 6th thing each day. But most of the time, to be honest with you, like if I come up with a checklist, I'm not going to knock out all the things on the list just because of my talking about these days recently. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I said, I've got my kids sometimes 10 to 12 hours in a row where it's like, bruh, like I got a 2.5-year-old and I got a 4-month-old. So, you're talking about just after spending that much time with 2 small children, that the last like maybe 2 or 3 hours I've been having like on those days, I'm just fried, bro. I just want to like drink a beer and do something where my brain doesn't have to work. But I think I've been most productive when I have been writing stuff down, because when I do get a free day, like when my wife's off work or my mother-in-law is off work and she's got the kids, those days, that checklist, I'm able to go back and like just start knocking stuff out on those days. You know what I mean? So, but the writing thing is huge. And I did a video also about. No, go ahead.
Do you try to do that like the night before, or is it just like you wake up in the morning, have your coffee, and do that?
Yo, it's a super hack, bro, because I found out that a lot of anxiety that I had came from trying to go to sleep with too much stuff on my mind. So what I started doing, this was like before I had kids, when I was just doing music videos and running around Atlanta like a madman. I had so many clients to work with and so many like projects to do that I would try to go to sleep at like, say like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was only getting like 5 hours of sleep anyway back then. Like this was like, it was like 2 years I was just running crazy in Atlanta. And it was like, I would try to go to sleep and I'd be like, yo, why can't I sleep? And then one day I just was like, all right, let me take out a sheet of paper and I'm just going to write down everything, because I realized I just keep thinking about this one thing. I said, I'm just going to write it down so I can just forget about it. And I was like, let me just write down everything that I need to do tomorrow. Bro, when I got done the list, it was like 38 things I needed to do. And I was like, that was all swimming in my head. Like, it was literally driving me crazy and keeping me from being able to rest. So that's like, it became a super hack for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you ever have that we have like a thought and you're about to say it and then you forget what it is and you just can't let go. Like, like I hate that shit. So yeah, that's the
because my thing is like disappointing people, right? Like I don't want to disappoint my clients. I don't want to disappoint like, just whatever. It was like, pay your rent. You don't want to disappoint your landlord like at that time. You know what I mean? So it was like all these things are in the back of my mind and it's keeping me up because I don't want to let people down. So I knew if I wrote it down, it would at least allow me to like stop thinking about it for a little while. And then it just turned into a hack. Like every night before I take it down for the night, I just write down the 3 to 5 to 10 things that are kind of like stressing me. Because it's usually, that's really, sometimes when stress is, it's like, man, I got to get this done, or you're worried about something. But at least if you write it down, you're not worried about it. I wake up in the morning and see it after I get some rest, and I have a better chance of getting it done. So that's been a crazy hack for me. So I usually do it right before I go to sleep, or when I leave my office at the end of the night, like maybe 8, 9, 10 o'clock. I'll just write down whatever the tasks that are on my mind, write it down. And what I've also found out about that is when you write stuff down, sometimes it checks itself off. Like, have you noticed that? Like, it's not even like you got to do everything. Sometimes some will just pop up like, oh, I'm stopping at the store. Do you need anything? And it was like 2 or 3 of the things were things I needed at the store. It's like, yo, can you grab this, this, and that? Boom. 15-second conversation knocks 3 things off the list. So that's just kind of like a small sample of some of the stuff that seems to manifest itself when you start writing it down. You know what I mean? Like things just start creating, opportunities just come about that allow those things to get done. So writing down.
Like you're talking about even everyday things. Like
going
to the store would just be, okay.
What was the thoughts that, because I know I seen that you was about to share some more thoughts too, Lifted Noise, on that. What was your thoughts on that too?
Oh, I don't know. I think I was trying to interject it and ask a question to Sight, but I don't know. It seems like it's like something I need to, like, it's on next level every night. Is it every night that you're doing this? And like when you
Uh,
started talking about
Usually if
things
I
from the
do it
store,
like
I'm like,
once a week, yeah. Usually if I do it like once a week, I don't have the anxiety
oh,
the rest
okay,
of the week. You know.
okay, once a week.
Um,
Yeah, because I don't know. I was just my head's always in one direction, so I'm thinking you're writing just things about your business or music or YouTube or stuff, and that's where my head's at. So,
It's,
yeah.
but I know
it's like
there's much
everything.
more to life than that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
writing down the other things that pertain to the household or the car or the kids or whatever
Hmm.
probably
You got to do
needs to
that
get.
stuff. I'm
Yeah, man.
sorry,
Because
I
it'll
didn't mean to
just
cut you. I
yeah,
didn't mean
no,
to
it'll
cut you
just
off
sit in
either.
your head if you don't if you
Yeah.
don't at least write it down. It'll just sit in your head and it'll keep you. It's just like a little subconscious anxiety or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's allowed me to kind of have a lot more of a clear head. And I was saying about my channel, my lowest performing video is about my vision board.
Vision board is,
Hmm.
is dope.
Yeah.
It is so crazy because it's like, yo, that's the thing about YouTube is like, yo, a lot of people they want to know, what gear do I need to get to the next level? Whatever, what plugin do I need? How much do I need to spend? Whatever.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm trying to tell you, having your dreams and your goals documented in a visual way, like whether it's a vision board or you make some kind of picture collage or something on your computer, yo, it's so powerful. I lie to you not. I've created a vision board probably 4 times. Every single time my life has leveled up, and like meaning like most of the things on the board happened in some way. It might not be exactly what I had pictured, but it's close. Even down to like my vehicle I just got. Like I put a whole section on my last vision board for my channel about vehicular creativity. Like I wanted a vehicle I could just hop in and just go wherever in the country, whatever, and make music, make videos, whatever. If I felt that way, and it manifested itself like might be 7, 8 months later, but it's like it's literally it's really close, like the type of vehicle I ended up getting, and it's all under my business. So it's kind of like I made a business vision board, like a producer slash creative vision board, but it's those benefits obviously
Well,
turn into life benefits too for your
it's
family.
it's important to have that stuff though, because like even in the community, like just like for the goals that you have for just being a producer and stuff like that, you know, if you can't visually see where you want to go, then how you gonna get there?
Right.
And so like what you talking about manifestation, you have to believe, that you can get there, and like putting that stuff on paper, writing
Hmm.
it down, or like having like something like a vision board is like one of the ways that you do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You
It's a
you
map. It's
For
directions. You know
real.
what I'm saying? It's like how do you get anywhere without a map or directions if you've never been there before?
And
So
yeah, you gotta do it because like somebody told me, and like, and this is totally true. Like I think it was you that was telling me this too. Like um like writing that stuff down and stuff like that, like helps you like stay on task too. It's
hmm.
because you have a million and one things in your head all the time.
Yep.
So with the vision board, like you can visually see it. You don't have to think about it. You see it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So you can do your stuff, and you know what goals you're working towards. But if you're not like writing that stuff down or putting on the vision board, like, what I'm saying, you're not training your brain to like, act in a way that's going to get you those things that you want, or to
Hmm.
complete those tasks that you need to get done. So,
Yeah. I,
I
I think
think
it
that's important. Go
I think
ahead.
it comes down to this is this like the human mind just works better if it's in the moment rather than trying to
Mm.
organize the future.
Right. Right.
Trying to organize all those things, like it's the
Yeah.
weight, like you feel like you can't sleep because you got all these things and it's a mess up in your brain. So yeah, so I think we just probably work more efficiently if we're in the moment, rather than stressing about the future or whatever it is and having a mess up in your head. So,
That's
Daddy
but yeah,
fair.
duties. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta change my dude real quick.
Nah, handle your
Dad,
thing.
dad
Handle
beat.
it. I'm gonna mute you until you come back.
All right, beat me.
So yeah, and that goes back to like the whole thing where they say, you know, if you're you have anxiety, you're thinking too much about the future, and if you have depression, you're thinking too much about the past. And I think that's like super powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you said, you're more effective and efficient in the moment. And when you at least know you have kind of like things lined up for the future, you don't have to trip so much. You don't. It's not swimming around your head like, oh, I don't want to forget this. And that's a real thought all of us have. Like, oh, I don't want to forget this. So you end up saying that to yourself like 1,000 times a day. So yeah, man, it's definitely a huge unlock for me when I started writing this stuff down.
That's good. That's always been one of my biggest things is sleep. Like not being an insomniac. I had to get over that. Like I used to take, like, we'll just get real. I used to take, I mean, it's not like the worst kind of drug, but I used to take sleep aids like all the time to the level where my body would get used to it and I would take a higher amount and I would wait for that shit to pull me down in order to sleep. And I think the main thing is just feeling a lack of productivity throughout the day and not feeling like I've accomplished anything. So I think it's the same kind of thing here.
Now, were you going to work when that happened? Like, did you feel like you weren't accomplishing your goals, like your creative goals?
Yeah, it comes down to that. It doesn't matter if I'm doing a bunch of work, you know, at my job.
At work.
Yeah, that doesn't.
The job means nothing.
No, absolutely nothing. And I hope someone's tuning in from over there. No, they need to know this. Please let me go. I won't go willingly because you don't get benefits with that.
That's a fact.
But yeah, no, but seriously, yeah, really, that's what it is. It's like not feeling productive on what matters to me the most, you know? And that's the whole reason why I do this is because I need to, like, maybe some people don't get it. Maybe because I feel like there's a negative mentality from creatives when it comes to creatives who are trying to make money. Like they don't get it. Like it's like, oh, you get something out of this. And I seen it in like the comments of the stream that we were doing. It was like someone was in there it was like the thing with King O Caesar and you and I, and it was like the 10 10 thing. And it just had a negative thing to say. And it doesn't matter who it was directed at, but it's just they were saying something like, oh, you probably have something out of saying this and you're going to get money off of this, you know, sales with MPC. I'm like, well, okay. I understand. Let me take a step back, and I understand you. You like to create on a certain level. Maybe it's enough on the level that you do. But for me, I can't create an hour a week and be happy.
Right.
So maybe we're just different in that way. So I want to be able to make some money so that I can support my creativity and do it full time. That's just me.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think, honestly, I think most people that tune into our channels know that. And most people that tune into YouTube in general, you know, YouTube, Twitch, I mean, they know it's like it's a support economy. Like you know, the people who watch your channel and, you know, the content creators that you like, you're making it possible for them to continue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think most people at this point are educated enough, you know, in the landscape and the culture of, you know, online video and independent content creators to know if you don't support them, they're probably not going to be able to do much, you know. So if you like somebody, it's like, you know, chip in a little bit. And I think that's the norm, honestly. So when I see a comment like that, I'm like, man, this guy's like really out of touch, you know, like that's different. You know, I don't really see that often. But I do see it sometimes. Like I used to see it on my channel a lot where it was like, oh yeah, Kai's probably paying you. And I'm just like, yo, you have no idea. They don't really pay anybody. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to get into politics this particular live stream, but you can get paid off affiliate links, but you're not getting paid from the company per se. It's not the same as like maybe like a plugin company where they can track exactly who's buying from your recommendation, you know, like unless you literally click on, you know, the link in someone's description and buy it from there, there's no way to tell if that person influenced you to buy something or encouraged you to buy something. So that's why it's so impactful to buy something to support the creators who really kind of brought you around to something that you like, you know. So but that's a whole nother thing. I think kind of getting back to the core of the conversation is, you know, creating, being a creative and finding a way to monetize your craft in a way that's not like cheesy, it's not cringy. You know what I'm saying? It sits well with you. And it's kind of like the further you get in this journey of being a content creator, the more you get comfortable with the motivation you have for making money is not like, oh, I just want to be Scrooge McDuck and just hoard a bunch of money. No, like I want to make money so I can continue making content that inspires people. Cause that's really the thing, bro. Like when we look at our comments, I'm sure you see it too. It's like, yo, the content some of y'all leave, man, are so positive and powerful. Like I've never been thanked any more than I have. Like nobody's ever thanked me more than the producer community and the YouTube community in general. Like I get so much thanks, you know, for the videos I put out, you know, people who've been inspired and you know, just trying to give people honest advice and the best information I have. And that's more motivating than anything, you know, because I think if I was making money and people were like, yo, I hate your guts, Sight, you're a piece of you know, I probably wouldn't do YouTube very long. Like that, right. The motivation for me, honestly, is the community more than anything.
Sure.
How you feel about it?
No, I mean, and I mainly get that. That's like 99%. I haven't had any negativity too much, really at all. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could step back and understand those things because I've always been kind of the just creative person, and I've had that perspective and stuff. So, but yeah, of course. But anyway,
I mean, we've all been starving artists at some point. Like, it's not a good feeling. Nobody wants to be a starving artist. Like, nobody wants to have creative goals and they can't get to them because they don't, you know, they don't have the proper support. And I guess you could say, oh, well, go work for it, go get a job. And that's a fair point. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's definitely a fair point. But I mean, a lot of, especially when it comes to content creators on YouTube, it is a job. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's not, I mean, maybe there's some people who can just like hold a selfie camera up and just talk into it for 15 minutes. But no, that's not most of them. I know, you know, these live streams and things like that, you're talking about thousands of dollars in gear. You're talking about like, I mean, we had to get on 30 minutes before just to kind of, you know, troubleshoot stuff and make sure everything's working. And then, I mean, it's a whole process. Like people have to spend a lot of time to get to the point where they can create quality content. It's not free to create quality content. Everybody else wants money. You know, Rode wants money, Tascam wants money, Canon, Sony, whatever, you know. So all these things, you know, require an investment, and you can make it out of your pocket, but and you should, you know, I definitely, I know you did too, like invested my own personal money into my gear. That's a normal thing. It's not like this channel was, you know, really earning for me for the whole first maybe 2 years I had it. It didn't make a dime, you know, and I think that's the paying dues part, right? Like you go through that period where YouTube's not giving you any ad revenue. You might not have any products or anything for people to support you. And then eventually you learn to create avenues, you know, for people to support you. So, let me check on O Caesar. My bad.
Yeah, I was back here saying, I was like, I'm back. I didn't think
my
y'all
bad.
could hear me.
I thought I heard your door open, maybe.
I had you muted, yo. That's my bad. No, the door you're hearing open is my chair. It's creaky.
Oh, okay.
That sounded like a whole animal
chair
over there.
The door is a success.
Oh man, that's crazy. What I missed.
I kind of wanted to ask Sight about, since we're talking about YouTube and creativity and making money. I know this is a whole general subject, but as far as it comes to your YouTube channel, because you said you weren't making anything, I think I kind of remember your story. Like you made a couple of videos, and then you just kind of stopped for a while. And when you came back, there was a pretty decent amount of growth on your channel. So I
went from like 30 subscribers to like when I look back, like I looked again in a year and it was 1,500, and then I got guilty. I was like, oh man, like there's 1,500 people subscribed. No, I didn't even look at it because it was like, it's not the first time I tried to start a YouTube. I tried one with with my business, my branding business. And, that started to get like those, I got a few views, and it really just brought me new clients. So that's really, that's all I cared about with my business channel. But, no, with it's not that I didn't care. It's just I was just like, yo, it just wasn't feasible. Like we talking about responsibilities. I'm like, yo, I can't be putting in, 10, 12, 20 hours a week on a YouTube channel that's not going to get any traction, So when I saw like 30 subscribers, I was like, yeah, I'm good off this. I'm going to go, invest my time into other projects. And like I said, when I came back, it was like 1,500 subscribers. And then I was like, wow, it wasn't. Then I started to feel, and I started looking at the comments, and the comments were like, yo, this video is crucial. This video really helped me, whatever, it was so positive, the comments, that I was like, okay, I started feeling guilty. Like, man, I got to really turn it up and start dropping some more info. Because the other part is, when you're a creator, you don't know how valuable you are. You don't know you're helping people. You're just talking about stuff. And maybe you had the intention, like, okay, maybe this can help 1 or 2 people. But when it helps 1,500 people, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us could imagine, like thousands of people getting benefit from something that we're going through. And that's the part that, like, it took that number for me to see, like, wow, okay, maybe what I'm doing has some type of impact. And even if it's just for those 1,500 people, I'm going to keep making these videos and sharing my experience. And then it just, it kind of snowballs from there. But
yeah. So it was just that moment of checking back and then seeing those numbers. You're like, oh, this may be something I should pursue.
Yeah.
Or was it, was it
and not
prior
even
to-
business wise. It was like I said, it was a sense of guilt. Like, man, like, I've been having these kind of feelings since I turned 30, really, that like I wanted to be a teacher in some way. Not necessarily like for like an ego reason, but I'm like, yo, I really acquired a lot of information and a lot of knowledge as a creative and as a producer over this time, just because I just been going super hard. And I was just like, it's time for me to start sharing this, because Lord forbid something happened to me, it's just going to go to the grave with me. You know what I mean? So I was just like, well, if I do have kids in the future, at that time I didn't. I was like, I'm gonna drop as much information as I can about, what I know about this stuff, MPCs and making beats in general. And if people get benefit out of it, that's dope. And then it turned into a kind of transition into, once I had kids, it was like, yo, if something happens to me, I want my son to know how to do everything that I know how to do. And I want my son to know who I was if he doesn't get a chance to, like meet me as an adult, like, find who I am. And that's a real situation for my family, because my grandfather was a jazz musician. He passed away when my dad was 5. And I mean, he was such a huge presence in the family that my family didn't recover from that, really, in that generation. Like, it took a huge toll on my dad, on that whole side of my family, you know what I'm saying? And for me, it was like, I don't want like a curse to reoccur. I guess you can call it a curse, but when you lose somebody, a father figure, a huge one in the family, he was 38, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes a huge impact negatively on the family, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yo, the most responsible thing I can do is try to document as much information that I have, so it gets passed down to my son and my daughter, Lord forbid if something happens to me. So this is kind of like an information life insurance for me too. Which
Did you
sounds
have
kind of
that
crazy.
whole realization at that same moment, or is it kind of gradual over time? Because that seems like a lot. That kind of stuff is kind of unfolding for me, as far as like giving my kids some kind of blueprint of at least like discipline or motivation, or just the character to be inspired to keep going on something that, when it comes to this kind of thing, sometimes only you believe in it, right? And so people surrounding around you aren't necessarily signing on or signing off for it,
Damn right.
Yeah, I think with me, it was kind of like, it was a fatherhood thing too. Like, I didn't, my dad wasn't really around. So when I finally got to be around my dad again, I was like 34, 35. And I spent like a weekend kicking it with him. And yo, it was mind blowing. It was like, yo, that's where I get that habit from. That's where I get that habit from. So it started unlocking for me, like seeing your parents and, it's something I didn't really realize I missed that I didn't catch, is that seeing your parents and knowing where you come from answers a lot of questions to you about yourself. And then that started turning into like this whole I want to make sure my kids don't have to wait 35 years for that to happen. If Lord forbid
Right.
something happened to me, you know what I mean? So
Give them a blueprint at an earlier age. Definitely,
yeah,
right? It's like
and just have some type of idea of what type of person they descend from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who their father was, like I said, you know what I'm saying? Like because like growing up, you see like, some of the habits, like some of the good habits and the bad habits that you acquire from your parents, like when you're growing up and stuff like
Right.
that. So like, I guess in my sense, it's like I want to give my kids, like, let them know to always pursue the stuff that you want. You know what I'm saying? But be responsible, because we got to keep the lights on. So I can't just, until this is like making full-time money for me. I can't just quit my 9 to 5 and stuff just because I'm pursuing my passions, which this is my passion. But you teaching them how to be responsible, showing that your dad goes hard. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But he's also passionate about something, and he,
Right.
he goes the mile for that too. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
just make sure you're 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 expressing yourself, because that's very important for people to express themselves in whatever creative way they want to express themselves. You know what I'm saying? But also be responsible and make sure you handling business and taking care of the
yeah.
family. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
That's a good point because I've had those moments where I've wanted to, just quit and just off of pure belief, I can do this. I'll turn it full time.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
out of nowhere, out of thin air. But yes, definitely, man. We got responsibilities, and it all comes down to a balance, and giving
Yeah.
everything its due time and
And
stuff.
But is it?
sometimes it's unbalanced, right? Like
Yeah.
I tell guys, like, I'm quietly having the worst channel year I've had in 3 years. Like,
Right.
people think like, oh, Sai, you killing it. And I'm like, nah. Like, I mean, I'm grateful for like the things that I am doing well, but as far as my YouTube channel, I've only been able to put out like 4 videos this year. It's August. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want this podcast and guys who are tuning in who maybe are influenced by us or take our information to heart in any type of way. Realize what we're doing here is we're trying to take a situation where we all have responsibilities and we're not able to create content as often as we want, and we're trying to find a creative way to do it together. And that was the part, that was my pitch when I called y'all. Like,
Yeah.
yo, let's combine forces and try to create engaging content for our audience, in a way that takes a little bit of stress off us. And because there's that nag, like, oh, I didn't put out a video this week.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine mine. It's like, yo, I didn't put out a video this month. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
Yeah, I don't know how you're doing it.
well,
I'll
that
be going crazy.
that's getting us to this whole other question too. It's like, now that we're on this kind of topic, you know what I'm saying? What can people expect from this podcast? What can people expect from Dad Beats? Like, what are we bringing to the table? What are we going to be doing with this platform that we're
well,
doing?
Raul, I like for you to talk about your motivations when I talk to you about it. Like, what were your motivations for getting this podcast started?
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I was just thinking that, man. I don't know. I think it's just mainly a way that we can all kind of collaborate and grow. Because a big thing, if you do pursue like a YouTube channel or some kind of creative career, and you've come across the YouTubers who are helpful in that way, they'll talk about one of the main things of growth is to actually collaborate. It's huge, right? Collaborate
Mm-hmm.
with other people in your lane in the same niche and stuff, and that will help your channel grow. And that's the way I received that. But
Mm-hmm.
in the over the time my journey collaborating with people, I think one thing that's kind of left out is that you got to realize or try to find some kind of growth on other levels other than the numbers. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I think the dad beats is huge, is because um so we're in the same niche, but then we can relate to each other in something that we all need to grow in, and inevitably we're going to um, you know, and there may be troubles along that way. So I think I use the word therapeutic. And since there's going to be some kind of camaraderie and a relatability that, you know, when you're going through a struggle, any struggle, and specifically the struggle of being a parent, and then just all the other balances, is when you're going through that, a lot of struggles feel like you're going through it alone, right? So just having this kind of takes some of the load off when you know other
Hmm.
people are relating to it. You know, you're gonna get through it. This will pass as well, like whatever it is. So just having this outlet to bounce these ideas off each other, and
Hmm.
eventually we're all gonna gain something. Like you know, it's great to have different perspectives, you know, so that, you know, maybe we didn't see something a certain way. It'll help us through. So it's just that the therapeutic, and just the growth on a human level, maturity level. So I
Facts.
think
What
that's
about
what
you,
I'm
O? What do you expect to get out of this?
Well, just and I'm gonna first say sorry because, like I told you, my son, like
Yeah,
he
no
keep
need to
talking.
apologize. Yo, first of all, everybody watching, just realize we all got kids. They're gonna make cameos during this podcast. There's
This
no
is
way around it.
we're definitely
Yeah.
on brand with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
Right.
like but like that's what we was talking about. So when we was talking about the site, it's like we come across this all the time in like the community where everybody's talking about being creative and stuff like that and just not having the time because of all the responsibilities. So it's like with dad beats, like we bring those conversations, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And like try to help because like as we're navigating into it, maybe some of the stuff that we come up with will be able to help other people navigate it through too. So, I feel like this is a great thing just so because, like we all face these problems as creatives. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like trying to balance family, I'm a full-time father, when I'm off, I have my kids and they always want your attention and stuff. How do I
Hmm.
navigate doing the stuff that I love versus like making sure that I'm showing them the most love and taking care of my responsibilities with the kids and that,
Right.
So it's like, dad beats. That's what I think people are gonna get from this channel. It's like, a way to like navigate like through their life as being, a creative person.
Definitely.
That's a fact. I know with me, when I talked to you guys, it was mainly about for me like embracing the fact that I always felt like with my channel I was hiding my family, and I don't mean like intentionally. Like wasn't like, oh, I don't want no one to see. Nah. I always felt like
Keep the kids in
I
the
was.
closet.
Yeah, it was like I was always working around my family, like,
Yeah.
and I've never been that way as a creative. I've always like been very open about who I am, what I'm doing, what my goals are. Being a husband, like I never hid like nothing about my life, like ever. So it started feeling weird for me on my channel where I'm trying to do all these videos and I'm like, yo, I can't do a video today. My kids are crying, or my son is having a bad day, like whatever. And for me, it just became too much of trying to work around a situation instead of just embracing the situation and saying, look, this is where I am in life right now. This is where I am in my channel right now. And, I want to make sure that I've featured my kids in like videos, like, quick clips and stuff like that. But I've never like openly felt comfortable, like just if they bust in the door, they bust in the door. And that's what I was saying. Like, just son coming in, like my son's a little younger. He's
Yeah.
going to be 3 in October. But I'm surprised he hasn't started knocking on the door yet. If I don't open the door, he knocks on the door, he knows I'm in here. Yo, he loses his mind. He's like, why doesn't dad want to talk to me? So
Hmm.
it's only a matter of time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's only a matter of time before he's knocking at the door. But for me, it's just having that relatability with my audience and letting them know, like, look, I'm going through this too. Like, it's not easy for me to have a channel and have my business and my brand as a producer while navigating this family dynamic. Like, it's not easy for me, and I don't want to come off like, yo, it's so easy and Sight's just killing it. And I don't want people to only see highlight reels of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, Sight just made a dope beat, on this video. That's cool. Like, that's definitely cool. And I like those videos where people are just posting their beats or whatever. But for me, my family has become the overwhelming dominant force in my life and my kids. So I can't avoid it anymore. Like, it's going to have to be a bigger part of my channel. And maybe this is a way to kind of introduce that, where we'll be talking about those things and those topics, and this is like kind of a way I can express that, and with guys that are in the same position. Also, I would like to bring guests on to talk about different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just as producers, but as creatives, as parents, just different the different roles that we have. Talking about how to further our business and become better businessmen, what I'm saying, is
Yeah.
huge for me. And that's something I'd like to get into more on my channel. But I figure if we can invite the right guests to start handling business as producers and creatives, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have stuff I need to learn, and I know, our audience has stuff they need to learn. And I want to start bringing on guests that can help us all learn and navigate and get further in our careers as creatives, so we can start stepping away from these jobs that we really don't want to be doing. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah,
see,
most definitely.
the most important thing to me too, and I think we all feel this way too, is like, being able to inspire people to do the things that they love and not, quitting, because like so many times in life things happen, what I'm saying? Like, stuff gets hectic, and you just want to, sometimes you just want to throw it all away. You just want to quit. It's like, so it's like seeing people like us and like telling our truths and like, expressing like the things that we're going through, but we're not giving up. That's a great thing. Like you talked about it earlier. I caught that when I came back.
Yeah.
We was talking about like the different like messages you get from people, and how it's so uplifting to see like a comment that comes through my channel. Like I was able to like help somebody, what I'm saying? And all I did was make a video, what I'm saying? So like I think this podcast will be great for that, just showing people that, hey, you know,
Yeah.
you're not the only one that's going through it, what I'm saying?
And
Just
our
don't quit.
situations aren't exactly the same, right? The
Yeah.
homie Masada, shout out to Masada, he stepped in the chat. He said he's a single father and it's been difficult, and dope topic. I appreciate that, bro. Oh, you're a single father, you know what I'm saying? And that's a
Yeah.
different dynamic, you know what I mean? So I feel like going forward in future pods, like, we'll kind of maybe drill into those topics a little more, you know what I'm saying? Like what it's like, when you have to kind of co-parent and stuff like that. That's something I don't have any experience with, but I'm sure a lot of audience has to deal with that. So so that's something I'm looking forward to, and I think the audience should look forward to is, getting more into these real topics we deal with as producers, creatives, parents. I say parents because, most of us are fathers. I know my demographic on my channel is like 98% men,
Yeah.
but I don't want to exclude,
We don't want to
the
include
ladies
the
out there.
ladies, Didi. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
There's definitely a couple in the community who are really awesome. So
Yeah, there are some dope ones, and they dope with the beats too.
facts, big facts.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, there's that's the main goal. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we start closing up?
Well, I think we hit like everything for the first podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? But we should like, go over like what your goals are. Like what are our goals? When you see what you're trying to do with your channel, with your family and stuff, like where do you see yourself being? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like eventually.
Absolutely.
Like
And real quick, y'all, everybody who's in the chat and watching, if you can hit that like button, it does wonders for the algorithm. It really helps us, grow. This is something we're going to try to do every week. Maybe not every single weekend. Like I think we're going to do maybe 10 per quarter. So we'll give ourselves maybe like 3 or 4 weeks off, every 3 months. But we're going to try to do these really regularly. And, we really appreciate it if you guys can help, whether you share it, hit the like button. Definitely, it helps us on the algorithm. So if you're in the chat, I appreciate if y'all hit that thumbs up, and kind of bringing it home. Y'all want to chop it up with the chat a little bit and see what's going on.
yeah, let's see what the chat talking about, man.
Let's do that.
All right, bet we got
First
oh
of all,
the
let's just ask them like how they feel about the topics. You know what I'm saying? And like Are you guys experiencing some of the same stuff that we're going through? Like, is this all making sense to you guys?
Also, I know that Nas record came out, and
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that Nas. I haven't
man,
heard that yet.
bro, that album is crazy. And I
Is it?
mean, yeah, I love it. I personally love it. I mean, I love the first one, he did with Hit Boy, but I'm really,
Really?
I'm really impressed with Hit Boy as a producer, man. His range is just unbelievable. You're talking about making Beyonce records to, I mean, the vibe he's able to pull off on this Nas record. I mean, you would think it's like mixtape Nas from like '98. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the beats really sound like some of those mixtape records, and that's really impressive. You know what I mean? He's done enough on the production to make it sound modern, but it's got kind of like he's just whatever he's using to process his drums and stuff is whatever his signal chain is A1, bro. Because those boom bap type beats really smack on that album, man. They got that grit to them. They've got a real soulful kind of character to them.
Yeah, I got to hear that, man. I got to check that out.
Any other records y'all been listening to this week?
I just listen to all type of music, man. I'm telling you, I listen to rock, I listen to R&B. I be on my Beyonce and my Rihanna sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I just listen to everything, bro.
Did y'all catch the versus battle with Dipset and the Locks?
Dipset let me down, man. They let me down, bro.
You a big Dipset fan?
Bro, I love Dipset. Joel Santana is my dude, bro. And I was like, I thought the Locks really like killed them. You know what I'm saying? So they let me down, man. And
Yeah,
they didn't even showcase all the stuff that they had either, man. It was mostly like a Cameron show to me.
yeah. It looked like lack of preparation to me. It looked like the Locks is just firing all cylinders. They're used to performing together. You know what I'm saying? Their bond. And somebody made a good point online. Is like, Dipset, like they've been at each other's necks and having beefs like for the
Yeah,
better
well,
part of like 10 years, I guess. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Off and on. So it's not surprising to me that their stage chemistry isn't, up to par with the Locks. Like the Locks clearly they have the chemistry, the relationship's still strong. You can tell they're still brothers. Like they don't, they haven't been fighting and bickering. It just seemed tighter, more integrated, and of course, I mean, Kiss is like the X factor. That dude, top
Bro, yeah,
five.
Jada Kiss, man. Like, and then, like like you said, with the stage presence, man, it's like everybody knew everybody's verse, and they was able to like ad lib at the perfect. They knew when they was gonna run out of breath, they would fill in right
Right.
there. It was just so synchronized. They really did their thing, man.
Yeah.
And I'm
I'll
a
be
Lock fan
honest.
too.
I haven't watched any versus battles at all whatsoever. So
You haven't watched any?
Wow. I've caught maybe
no.
like 3 or 4, but this was the one
Yeah.
I'm
Where
glad
are
I
you
didn't
catching
miss.
those anyways? Are those like IG or what? What
They
was
they
it?
were IG at first, and then this one was actually it was on YouTube, and I actually went on Zoom and watched it with my brother. It was my first time doing something like that, but man, it was such an experience. Like was fixing some drinks. Matter of fact, wife was in here watching it with me.
Yeah,
It was dope.
the verses be nice, man. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy that because it was started by basically Timberland
And Swiss.
and Swiss. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and
So
that's
two
that's yeah,
producers put on
that's a
for the
pro-
community. You know what I'm
that's a
saying?
producer platform. Yep, that's
Yeah.
huge, man.
That's just the power of what you can do. Like with just business and like branding. It's something that they started just because COVID hit and they wanted to just mess around. So they versed each other, and
Yeah,
then they seen how much hits it was getting, and they was like, man, we should turn this into a thing. And then people just started throwing out ideas like we want to see this person versus this person, and they just started making it happen.
I want to see them do a cipher.
You want to see them do a cipher?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like I've never really super been into. I don't know, the format of these verses is like their catalog, right?
Yeah,
But I've never been super into like the battle thing. But I
yeah.
like the cipher thing more so.
gotcha.
But
Yeah, it was. I liked it because this one was more of like it was more of like a stage. It was like a concert. You know what I'm saying? It was a stage show. There was a live audience. I don't know if the other ones were like that. Like any of the other ones had a live
yeah,
audience.
well, it came out of COVID, right? So now it's just like more loosening the restrictions kind of thing. So we're getting there.
Hopefully. We'll see, man. This year could get weird. It could get really weird. But yeah, getting back, you had something to say, oh?
No, I was saying, looking at the chat, man, you know what I'm saying? People were saying that, like, a lot of, like, majority of people are saying that this is dope and that the topics that we're talking about are real and that they need to hear them, you know. Shout out to some people in here, you know.
Ruthful Productions, how about a Coco Melon soundtrack?
I just,
Yo, that's a dad joke for real. Coco Melon, yo, my son just got on a Coco Melon. I'm like, bruh, I didn't even know he was saying it first. Yeah, we definitely need to have like a word party. Have a remix contest with kids shows. My son's into Stinky and Dirty. Yo, y'all ever see that? No. It's on Amazon. It's a dump truck. No, it's a garbage truck. His name is Stinky, and Dirty is a front end loader. It's ridiculous, y'all. They're talking vehicles.
Yeah, bro. Like, it gets crazy with the kid like cartoons and stuff now.
Yeah, man.
You know, Blimpy, my 3-year-old is on Blimpy, man.
Oh, Blimpy, yeah, with
that
the
guy,
monster trucks and all that. Yeah,
man, that guy's man.
Well, I got all girls, so maybe those are like more boy shows or what?
Yeah,
probably.
But Blimpy is like for everybody. Blimpy is he's this dude and he's dressed up in like blue and orange.
That's a real life guy.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
a real life
You
guy.
bought into Blippy, bro. You're a Blippy fan. Let me find out.
Blippy will drive you crazy, boy. He's that high pitched voice he be doing all the time. Man.
Yeah, I can't do it, bro. I just skip right to the monster truck footage. But yeah, man, let's wrap it up, fellas. Anything y'all want to say signing out? I'll let you go ahead and start, King O Caesar.
My final thoughts, like I said, for this podcast is just like, you know, I hope everybody's inspired, like I said, and I just want everybody to keep creating and just, you know that you know that people are fighting the same struggles and the same battles you are, but just never give up on your dreams and your hopes and keep pushing, find a way to get like little things done, because, you know, small steps, you know, eventually you'll walk a mile, even if you're just taking small steps. So just take small steps and you'll eventually, you know, get to where you're trying to go. So
That's a fact. Lift the noise.
Exactly, and that I wanted to expand on what you were saying earlier, because, you know, sometimes we feel like giving up, and that's like falling down. And I wanted to use a very relevant baby analogy that I don't know if it's probably not original, but I heard it somewhere. You know, when a baby falls down, when they're trying to learn to walk, they just get back up and try again. So I don't think we should mistake being adults for being fully grown. Like, this is a process of growth. So we're still growing. If you fall down, just get back up, stay encouraged. And that's what I think this is all about. So yeah, God bless everyone. Thanks for joining us and, you know, being here with us. So that's it.
Big facts.
big facts.
Yeah, man. And I don't really have that much to say. I just want to appreciate everybody who tuned in today. It's definitely something new we wanted to do. And as far as like inspiration for the name, it's funny because it was a joke that came up in the MPC gang group a few months back, where somebody was like, man, all you guys in here just make dad beats.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be some like, yo, the whole room lit up. Like it sparked like a whole bunch of rage and a whole bunch of like, I guess you can say like people were offended by it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of older guys like, and I think that maybe, you know, I try to take situations like that and turn them on their head. You know what I mean? And I think dad beats the phrase. It was funny. I laughed at it. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, I'm a dad. I make dad jokes. Like I'm embracing this dad thing fully. And I guess the beats that I make are from my era, which, you know what I'm saying, makes sense. Like I make dad beats, I guess. I don't know. I just felt like embracing it and turning it into something that is not genre specific. You know what I'm saying? It's more of, I'm sure we'll get a dad on here who makes a bunch of trap beats, maybe a dad who makes EDM, you know what I mean? And it's not a genre thing, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely an experience thing, and being a dad is an experience, and being a mom is an experience, and a parent. And I just really wanted to take something that started off as something offensive and make it into something positive that we can embrace, and make it into a community. So, you know, that's up to y'all, whether y'all want to get down with it or not. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. and just taking the time with us today. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna make this a regular thing, and just improve each one. It's our first one, so if it's rough, we apologize.
Yeah, we're gonna iron it out. But I like your final thoughts that you had wrote down in here. It says inspire people to keep living their dreams, staying consistent, and finding balance between their crafts and family, because family is more important than anything.
That is a fact. So y'all are family. Thanks for tuning in, family. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace out.
God bless you.